On Ukraine, the president's intentions are not clear, but they are decidedly more sympathetic to the government in Kyiv than they were during the campaign. The president saying, as he did yesterday, Russian leader Vladimir Putin keeps dishing him lots of BS underscores that point. Trump can't even say, or won't say, who ordered a pause on weapons shipments to Ukraine that he's now clearly reversing. On immigration, some MAGA critics have accused the White House of toying with amnesty when it comes to scaling back enforcement, something the White House vehemently denies. But it is clear some change is coming. Where and how? Not so clear. To help us make sense of all that, we turn to Weijia Jiang at the White House. And Weij, I'm so glad you're with us. I want to play for you some sound from yesterday and today and for my audience on this question of Ukraine weapons shipments, pause, not pause, who ordered what and when. Let's hear yesterday's soundbite first.
So we're sending some defensive weapons to Ukraine, and I've approved that.
So who ordered the pause last week?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me?
Okay. That topic came up again at the White House, and the president said this.
What does it say that such a big decision could be made inside your government without you knowing?
I would know. If a decision was made, I will know. I'll be the first to know. In fact, most likely I'd give the order, but I haven't done that yet.
Weijia, your head is probably a little scratched. I'm scratching my head. I'm trying to make sense of this. Is it possible to get some clarity about either what's going to happen or who decided?
Major, when you preface this entire conversation with, we're going to get some clarity, I was thinking to myself, well, we're not going to get that from
Over-promising again.
Sorry about that, Major. I wish I had more. I've been trying to get some explanation for what we heard yesterday and today from the White House, but so far nothing from his aides. But what's clear is that the president claims he doesn't know who ordered that halt of shipments last week. In fact, a reporter followed up explicitly today and said, hey, yesterday you said you didn't know who ordered that pause, which, by the way, would be an incredible shift in U.S. policy to pause that shipment. What about now? And he said, no, I haven't really thought about it. I haven't gotten to the bottom of that. And that's when the reporter followed up with, well, how could that be? How could such a big decision be made inside your government without your knowledge of it? And so when the president answered, it almost made it sound like it didn't happen, that there was not a halt of this military support for Ukraine, which we know there was, Major. And so all that to say, it's unclear, even though the president has pledged at this point to send more military support to Ukraine. So the pause has resumed. As for how it unraveled in the first place, we'll continue to press the White House about clarification.
And the president has been pretty clear on this one topic, frustration with Russian leader Vladimir Putin. And there was a drone strike in Ukraine, massive, the largest of this war. And the president, though, hasn't done anything, but he keeps saying things that exhibit, to most people's interpretation, mounting frustration.
Right, Major. And the timeline here really matters because yesterday, it was just after noon here at the White House when President Trump was very clear in his frustration with Vladimir Putin for stalled peace talks. As we know, the president is trying to broker a deal to end that conflict between Russia and Ukraine. And he said that Putin is very nice, but it is meaningless. He also said that he is, full of BS when it comes to actually doing something substantive to try to end the violence. And then just hours after that, about 7 hours actually, Russia launched its largest drone attack on Ukraine since the beginning of this war, which was 3 years ago. Now, whether that was a direct response to what Trump said and whether Putin was trying to send a message is unclear, but certainly actions speak louder than words. And the president continues, Major, to say, look, if I were president, this war never would have started. And he's never publicly explained why he is so confident about that. But we now know, we heard an audio recording from 3 journalists who published a book about the 2024 election. In this audio that is new to CBS, we just obtained it today, Trump claims that he issued a warning to Putin and said, if you go after Ukraine, I am going to bomb the S out of Moscow. And he says that's why this war never would have happened had he been president.
Control room, I might be taking you by surprise. If I am, I'll get a letter in my file. But if we have that sound that Weijia just talked about, please roll it.
And Putin has said, if you go in to Ukraine, we're going to bomb the Moscow. I'm telling you, I have no choice. The public wants it. The public. So he goes like, I don't believe you. He said, no way. And I said, way.
That's the sound. There'll be no letter in my file. The control room, thank you for that. Weijia, thank you for teeing that up. Thank you for allowing us to do that. I appreciate it, as always, from the North Lawn. Eleanor Watson joins me now from the Pentagon. Ellie, great to see you. How has the reporting today, your reporting and others here at CBS News, clarified this pause in Ukraine weapons systems shipments, what the weapons are, and what the status of that pause is or isn't?
Well, Major, what we know right now is that the Pentagon did order a review of all of the weapons it sends to countries around the world. And in the course of that review, somebody, and the Pentagon is not saying who, authorized a pause on certain shipments to Ukraine. According to the president, who is giving confusing answers, but yesterday he said, when asked about this, that he did not know who ordered the pause, and he appeared to be caught flat-footed by the decision. This is not the first time the Trump administration has paused shipments to Ukraine, but the earlier pauses were part of a pressure campaign to get Europe to give more weapons and to get Ukraine to come to the negotiating table. This pause, however brief, does not appear to be part of a pressure campaign. It looks more to be like poor timing, because it came at the exact same time President Trump was starting to show he was losing patience with Russian President Vladimir Putin, who, instead of winding down the war, as President Trump would like to see, Russia is increasing its summer offensive.
Eleanor Watson at the Pentagon, thank you very, very much.